So today I wanted to, I did not film a daily vlog. Unfortunately, that just was not in the cards today. I was busy working and busy editing and getting things done, but I did put together a little slideshow for you. Today's video is going to be about the 3 rules to budget travel. Now, I want you to stick around to the very end because I've got a bonus tip that I think you will absolutely love, enjoy, and maybe even hate. When it comes to budgeting travel, this is something where a lot of people get confused. They get really confused between having a great time and then equating that great time to spending a ton of money. And to be honest with you, I've traveled all over the world and you don't need to do both. You can have a great time and you don't need to spend a ton of money. So if you're someone that is looking to book a vacation where you're gonna be spending tens of thousands of dollars and riding first class and eating champagne and drinking caviar. I think I mixed that up. Anyways, this video is not for you. So we'll see you on the next video. When I'm talking about budget traveling, I'm talking about people who really want to save a few bucks, but not sacrifice on how much fun they're gonna have. So I've got 3 rules for travel, and specifically budget travel. And you need to understand where I'm coming from. I'm coming from someone who has been traveling all through their 20s and most of their 30s. And now we're doing this full time. And we're doing it somewhat on a budget, so we need to be very cautious about what we spend on accommodation, on travel, flights, buses, cabs, Ubers, Airbnbs. We need to be conscious about food. We need to be conscious about a lot of different things. But I think I have 3 rules for the budget travel that's gonna make a complete difference on the way you save money, but also the way you have your experience. Rule number 1. It's very simple. When you're booking your accommodation, you have one rule, and that is absolutely it. You are not allowed to book after seeing the deal on whatever website you found it on. And when I say website, I'm also talking about Costco's, travel advisors, travel agencies, Orbitz, Travel Velocity, Booking.com, Orbitz, Chubhub, GetWiki, Hotels.com, and Cheap Caribbean and TravelZoo.com. You are not allowed to book after only seeing the deal on one advisory. And the reason why I say that is because I've done that before. And then I get to the resort and I realize that I could have gotten a better deal if I called direct. Now when I say call direct, I'm talking about calling the actual hotel and saying, "Hi, I'm thinking about booking and staying at your particular establishment. Will you price match on what I found on this website?" And 99% of the time, they will say yes, because they're incentivized to have you book directly through them so that they don't have to pay a commission to that booking agency, website, third party, middleman, middle lady, middle whatever, fill in the blank. And they can pass on the savings to you. And what rule number 1 is going to do for you is it's going to save you time, but also it's going to save you money. These establishments love price matching for that reason, but also you're going to be more inclined to have a few upgrades. Now when I'm talking about upgrades, I'm talking about literally if you book it on a regular travel website, fill in the blank travel website, they're not incentivized to upgrade you at all. They've lost their commission. Okay, the hotel has already paid out their commission to that particular platform. When you get to the hotel, you can literally ask for an upgrade, and most of the time, they'll give it to you. Rule number 2. Let's talk about flights. Flights are one of those things that have gotten rather difficult, rather challenging. And the reason why I say that is because you get hit with all these advertisements about how inexpensive flying is, but when you get there to the airport, it's not inexpensive at all. Because if your bag weighs more than a feather, they're going to charge you an arm and a leg. And if it doesn't fit this little tiny pouch in this weird little box, they're going to charge you for it. So the thing I want you to do on the next time where you're booking flights is I want you to go to one website. And it's very simple. Maybe 2 websites. You're going to go to Google Flights, okay? You're going to go to Google Flights and you're going to be able to type in whatever airport that you're flying out of and then whatever airport you're flying to. Now be open to which airport. For example, if I'm flying to California and I'm looking for the best deal possible, I know that I can either fly into Sacramento, San Francisco, Oakland, or San Jose. I look for the region, not necessarily the city. Now, if I'm flying to Atlanta, well, I need to fly directly to Atlanta because I'm not flying private and I don't have access to the other airports. So when you're trying to book on whatever flight you're trying to book, be open to which city you actually fly into, because you can find different deals on different times. So be very open to that, but also be open to the dates. Oftentimes, if you're going to, say, a vacation destination, you could be a little bit flexible because you're going to be booking these things out several months in advance, and you're going to be able to adjust the time off that you might be able to, that you're trying to get off. So you might be able to have a larger window than you think, and sometimes flying on a Wednesday is cheaper than flying on a Friday. Now, there's a second website that I want you to check after you look at Google Flights, and it's Southwest. Because for whatever reason, Southwest doesn't advertise on Google Flights. For whatever reason, they don't have the data. You'll have to go to a separate web page, type in Southwest, and sometimes you can find a pretty good deal. And the only reason why I would suggest you to go to Southwest is because if you're going somewhere extended, or if you're going to be bringing a lot of luggage, Southwest, to be honest with you, 2 bags fly free. It's a great deal. The seats are kind of comfortable, and it's not the worst flight in the world. Plus, I don't think they've ever crashed. Now, with the flights, now keep in mind, like, if you're going to be booking a very budget-friendly airline, understand that you're going to be paying a ton for baggage. Now, if you can put all of your stuff in a very tiny backpack and fit it underneath the seat in front of you, well, then go for it. Just understand that you're going to be sitting on a plastic lawn chair, and everybody and their mother is going to be smashed into an aluminum can, and you're all going to be just having a horrible time. Now, when we flew to Cancun for our most recent trip, we decided to book Delta instead of Spirit or Frontier. Even though the flights are very similar, they fly out at the same airport, same time, and they're usually about $100 for all three of us, less expensive, which is significant when you think about it. It's $100. I could have 3 or 4 meals in Mexico for $100. The problem is, Frontier and Spirit are going to charge you anywhere from $80 to $100 per person per bag, round trip. So with just spending, another $100 for the round trip flight to fly Delta, we're going to be able to being able to bring our carry-on luggage plus our backpacks, and we're going to have to check anything. So we're going to save $300. So I don't mind spending $100 now compared to spending several $100s later when I get to the airport. Now let's talk about rule number 3. Rule number 3, transportation. Transportation is one of those things that are absolutely just, at times, can be a nightmare. It's either very expensive, confusing because it's in a different language, or it's just scary because you're transporting with the locals. Now, I'm not talking about an XL Uber that takes you, all alone from the airport to your 5-star resort. I'm talking about taking the buses. If you're traveling anywhere like Sirius where there's a lot of tourists, there's going to be a lot of budget-friendly options for you. And all you have to do is just do a little bit of research. For example, there's this thing called ADO. It costs you about $14 to get anywhere in Mexico. The buses are clean, they're air conditioned, they usually have an American movie in Spanish playing that I can't understand, and they get you there on time. But I didn't know about these certain things because these things aren't always advertised to tourists. But if you go on some review sites, if you go on some Facebook groups, and wherever you're planning on going to travel, you're going to be able to find these budget-friendly options to transport you from the airport wherever you want to go in the country. So understand that there are budget-friendly options when it comes to the actual transportation from wherever you're going. If that's some type of local bus, local transportation, it's either some type of either Uber option or local cab ride, or even do what we've been doing lately, and we just bought bicycles because, well, bicycles were the least expensive way to get around the city. Now, as promised, bonus tip number 4. Now understand that excursions are one of those experiences that you just want to have. They look amazing, but in certain parts of the world, they're incredibly expensive. They're hundreds of dollars. They're outrageous, and it usually involves a ton of fun, but it also involves a long travel day. Like, it just takes a long time. They usually get you up early, they get you on a bus, then they take you to the excursion, you spend all day doing the excursion, and then you get back, and they get you back on a bus, and you're like exhausted. It's like 8, 10, 9, 12 hours of just boring, super fun, more boring, and then exhaustion. Now, one way to save a ton of money, and this is the most controversial thing that I will ever tell you about. You can spend 90 minutes. Have you heard this pitch? Yes, because most of the pitches come from when you arrive in the airport. This is one of the things that when we were budget traveling in Thailand, I took advantage of. Did Caitlin want to kill me? Yes. But it was a fun experiment. It was a great afternoon. And we also got some fun stuff out of it. And I've done this not only in Thailand, but I've done this in Mexico a couple times. I've done this in Bali. I've done this pretty much anywhere I can because I like it and it also creates great content. But this is how you get a free excursion, okay? You're gonna see the timeshare people. And they're usually willing to exchange 90 minutes of your time for a very expensive excursion. Too good to be true? Probably. Because they know that if they get you into their timeshare sales pitch, you're going to be overwhelmed with, the possibility of spending 1 week a year in this magical, beautiful place. And for only $300,000 right now, today, they'll get you that beautiful 5-star resort, A-class property that you get to spend those 5 beautiful days on the beach every single year. And it's an asset that you can pass down to your kids. Unless you live longer than like 30 years, and then it just disintegrates and no one ever goes to that destination ever again. Poof. Anyways, so if you sign up for one of these timeshare deals, okay, it's typically about 90 minutes, which they usually pick you up from the airport or they pick you up from your hotel. Yeah, not too bad, little excursion. Okay, usually a free cab ride. They take you to breakfast, usually at the little 90-minute presentation. They give you free drinks and coffee at a beautiful resort. You walk through a beautifully air-conditioned, wonderful apartment, condo, hotel, whatever you want to call it. And then they sit you down with a very highly aggressive sales pitch. And you just have to have the ability to say, no thanks. And at the very end of the 90-minute, very aggressive sales pitch, you get awarded a free excursion. For things like, we did a glass bottom boat in Cabo San Lucas. We did an 8-hour sailing catamaran tour in Thailand. We did another free transportation boat tour in Bali. We did in Cancun, we did another catamaran sailing cruise, which I drank probably 3,000. It was a great time. So that's the bonus tip number 4, the ability to turn a very negative experience into a free excursion. And if you like sales pitches, it's kind of 2 excursions for 1, and you don't pay for any of it. It's very simple. So these are your 4 rules for travel budgeting travel. Hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully you subscribe. And if you enjoyed this content, please give us a like. I just dropped all my markers. Oh, wait, don't go anywhere. Listen, I filmed this little, not skit, but this little fun piece coming home from the restaurant. I filmed it at the restaurant, and then I came home and then filmed this video. Anyways, enjoy.